is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Government resets. Government pledging to focus on personal, economic, and national security, plus widespread enthusiasm for the cannabis industry. But the opposition says the speech from the throne featured nothing but recycled ideas. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, wake up.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, October 5th, 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. Also this morning in business, we're going to be talking about mortgages and CIBC First Caribbean Bank's Get Comfy Mortgage campaign. We'll get details about that. That's all straight ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, the speech from the throne marking the start of a new session of Parliament, laying out the legislative agenda to address a wide range of issues, including the high cost of living, climate change, irregular migration, crime, and the backlog within the judicial system. As Governor General Cynthia Pratt delivered that speech in Parliament, a special in Rawson and Parliament Squares yesterday, her first since being sworn in as Governor General last month. She said, quote, "In the next phase of the administration, my government will continue to intensify its focus on strengthening personal security, economic security, and national security." The speech outlined plans for legislation to create greater opportunities in employment, youth development, education, and health and wellness. Pratt said the government believes employment plays a key role in ensuring personal security for Bahamians, and she said steps will be taken to prioritize Bahamian jobs for Bahamian workers, including the formation of a new unit to review notice of vacancy processes and ensure that Bahamians have a fair opportunity to apply for available jobs. She said the government will continue to expand opportunities in the tourism sector. She also noted plans to establish a downtown management authority to oversee the continued revitalization of downtown Nassau, as well as to implement the Family Island Airport Renaissance project to accelerate the redevelopment of airports throughout the country. As the largest employer in the country, Pratt says they can improve the working life of public service employees through a public service-wide promotion exercise and the introduction of a public service reform bill that will modernize the approach and governance of public servants. Speaking on education, which she noted is essential to personal security, Pratt highlighted the National School Breakfast Program and the launch of its pilot program earlier this week. The government also plans to bring a National Maritime Instruction and Training Bill and a National Apprenticeship Bill. She said the government remains committed to the creation of a creative and performing arts school, noting that preparation has begun for public consultation. She also highlighted plans for the creation of a bill that would create a National Youth Commission that will be mandated to implement policies, programs, and projects consistent with the National Youth Policy, and a National Service Bill would invite young citizens to register for national service, and that would be introduced as well. Acknowledging a need for reliable access to affordable health care, Pratt reiterated plans to construct a new specialty hospital in New Providence and hospital in Grand Bahama, as well as the introduction of a new telemedicine platform and the implementation of the second phase of national health insurance with the introduction of coverage for catastrophic health care. She also said the government will introduce legislation for the care and protection of the elderly, while the Stem Cell Act would be repealed and replaced to tighten its regulatory framework. More from the speech from the throne. The Davis administration is committed to introducing the Bahamas National Development Plan bill in order to lay the strategic foundation for the future. Pratt saying that by putting the National Development Plan on a statutory footing, the government seeks to ensure that the next 50 years of national life will have a firm strategic underpinning and focus. Also, cannabis, a lot of people waiting to hear about that. Several rounds of public consultations on legislation regulating cannabis and hemp have already been completed, and the government notes that widespread enthusiasm exists amongst the public for the new health sector. The opposition reacting to the speech, though, opposition leader Michael Pintard slamming it as, quote, recycled ideas, while pledging to double down on attempts to get answers from the government on key issues such as immigration and matters surrounding the FTX fallout. Pintard saying, quote, what is worrisome about today is that we sat through 60 minutes of recycled ideas and initiatives by the Davis-led administration. A conservative count of what they accomplished over the last 2 years reveals that at least 60 of the 87 promises and commitments made in the last speech from the throne were not accomplished. They added on top of the unrealized goals additional 63 commitments, some of which again were old commitments. We are not confident that this administration, best known for flossing and flamming and living large, is even committed to those initiatives. Speaking at a press conference at the party's St. Barnabas headquarters on Market Street, Pintard accused of squandering increased revenues that have come from the reopening of the Bahamian economy. In the past, he accused the Davis administration of displaying contempt for the rule of law and the Bahamian people due to late reports on the country's fiscal performance. In other news, a murder suspect denied killing a woman whom he described as his sexual partner. The Supreme Court hearing this yesterday. Cameron Vincent is on trial for the murder of 18-year-old Alternica Young on August 11, 2013. She was found strangled in bushes near St. Augustine's College Monastery. DNA evidence presented in the trial showed that his semen was found in Young. Police Sergeant Sherwin Brannon testified that he witnessed the interview of Vincent by ASP Sonny Miller. During the interview, Vincent said that he and Young had a sexual relationship, but that she was not his girlfriend. He said that he could not recall the date of their last sexual encounter. Brannon said that Vincent admitted that he walked with Young from her home through a shortcut, but he denied that he killed her. He also admitted going to the home of a person called Addison, but Vanilla Young. In response to a question from lawyer Cassie Bethel, Braden confirmed that other people were questioned about Young's death. He was unable to say whether Addison had also been arrested during the investigation. Forensic pathologist Dr. Karen Sands testified that Young died as a result of manual strangulation. She said that any DNA deposited would have occurred around the time of death. Jacqueline Burrows and Rashid Edgecombe are the prosecutors. Overseas, rescue workers searching for more than 100 people today after flash floods triggered by a sudden heavy rainfall swamped several towns in northeastern India, killing at least 14 people. Officials say more than 2,000 people were rescued after Wednesday's floods in the Sikkim State Disaster Management Authority. That's according to the Disaster Management Authority, adding that state authorities set up 26 relief camps for more than 22,000 people impacted by the floods. The Press Trust of India news agency reported that 102 people were missing, and some officials saying 14 people died in the floods. Among the missing were 22 army soldiers. One soldier who had been reported missing on Wednesday was later rescued by authorities. Some army camps and vehicles were submerged under mud following the floods. 11 bridges were washed away. Floodwaters also hit pipelines and damaged or destroyed more than 270 houses in 4 districts. And after a summer of record-smashing heat, warming somehow got even worse in September as Earth set a new mark for how far above normal temperatures got. The European Climate Agency reporting this today. Last month's average temperature was 0.93 degrees Celsius or 1.7 degrees Fahrenheit above the 1991 to 2020 average for September. That's the warmest margin above average for a month in 83 years of records kept by the European Space Agency's Copernicus Climate Change Service. The director describing it as mind-blowing, saying that he'd never seen anything like that in any month in our records. While July and August had hotter raw temperatures because they are warmer months on the calendar, September had what scientists call the biggest anomaly or departure from normal. Temperature anomalies are crucial pieces of data in a warming world. In sports, an effort to protect the children in the sport from harm and take care of the most valuable commodity, B3A is Bahamas Association of Athletic Associations, adopting a policy of ensuring that all of its club-level coaches are certified in safeguarding. To be selected as national team coaches, it's now mandatory for local coaches in athletics to undergo the safeguarding training course on World Athletics website. The 90-minute course is open to all, and it's a basic awareness training course explaining why safeguarding is everyone's responsibility. World Athletics has developed the course primarily for the protection of young athletes involved in kids' athletics worldwide. Read more about it in today's Guardian Sports section. And the inaugural One Caribbean Invitational Women's Fast Pitch Softball Tournament gets underway today and wraps up Sunday at the Bankers Field at Blue Hills Sporting Complex. The tournament is being hosted by two. The tournament will feature 3 local teams and 3 visiting teams for a total of 6 teams in the 4-day event. Organizer of the tournament Thomas Sayers says they are looking to see some strong competition. And after being off for almost a year, the Bahamas Cricket Association 2020 League, the T20 League, and the T20 Nations League set to resume. Action will get underway Saturday, October 28th at Haynes Oval. President of the BCA, Gregory Taylor Sr., says he's happy to have the league back up and running after the hiatus, and they're looking forward to having a good season. For Major League Baseball, the Diamondbacks are erasing an early deficit again and beating the Brewers 5-2. They've swept the National League Wild Card Series. The Minnesota Twins advancing for the first time in 21 years with a 2-0 win to sweep the Blue Jays. And the Rangers beat the Rays 7-1 sweep as well. Another big sweep. The Marlins are out. That means Jazz Chisholm is out too, as the Philadelphia Phillies have earned their National League Division Series rematch with the Major League's arguably best team, the Atlanta Braves. The Phillies beating the Marlins 7-1 last night. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. First look at weather for today brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. We've got troughing and available moisture. It's going to support some shower activity over the southeast Bahamas, while a weak pressure pattern and drier air will lower rain chances and support light to gentle breezes across the rest of the country. Boaters should be alert for possible waterspout activity. Beachgoers should exercise caution along Atlantic exposures due to possible rip currents. For today, for all areas, look for partly cloudy and hot conditions with a chance of a few isolated showers or thunderstorms, becoming mostly fair at mild at night, with a stray shower or two possible. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near showers or thunderstorms. Small craft caution in effect due to swells along Atlantic exposures. Winds northeast to east at 10 knots, falling light and variable at times. Seas 2 to 4 feet, but up to 5 feet along Atlantic coastlines in northeasterly swells. Temperatures today, we're looking at highs getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, getting down to about 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and look at the tropics coming up after traffic in just a bit. Your first look at weather brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of the start.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Blair, it's time to pay less for your current mortgage by switching to Scotiabank. Enjoy lower interest rates and no payments up to 2 months when you switch to Scotiabank today. Plus, we'll even pay your switch costs. It's that easy. Ready to switch to Scotiabank? Call us today at 242-356-1697 or visit bs.scotiabank.com to switch your mortgage to become mortgage-free faster.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and carved body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Get out.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
Too many debt bills? Overdue on loan payments? Improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Shrink your debt payments with a debt consolidation loan and built-in savings that pays you 5% interest. Call 356-7764.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969, Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Laverne Gardner. Laverne, good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Hope all's well with you.
Great. Yeah.
All right, so you know what the big topic is today. The speech from the throne. The speech from the throne and all the promises that were made yesterday. We're going to get into it this morning. I want to get your reaction to it, folks. So we're going to be doing all of that this morning. But later in business, we're going to be talking about mortgages. CIBC First Caribbean Bank has a Get Comfy mortgage campaign. We'll get all the details about that. So that's all with the big story in the news. And in the news, a big day yesterday, the opening of Parliament, the new session, and Governor General Cynthia Pratt, her first speech from the throne, and laying out the government's, the Davis administration's roadmap for the next few years. And it was a mix of everything, right? The pomp and the pageantry, the spectacle of it all. But so that got a lot of people's attention. A lot of people talking about what people were wearing, what they weren't wearing, and but a lot of other people listening out to hear. We're going to be going over the next 3 years at least. And so I think you got a lot to talk about based on what you heard yesterday. And we'll get to what the opposition says. They think it's a bunch of recycled ideas. We'll get to that in a bit. But let's get to the meat of what came out of yesterday. For a good synopsis, take a listen to this report from our Jared Higgs. Governor General Cynthia Mother Pratt read the speech from the throne this morning, setting out government's legislative agenda for the new session. Some of the foreshadowed legislative measures include introducing a bill to amend the Immigration Act to make new provisions to be more responsive to immigration circumstances, and introducing a compendium of measures to underpin strategies in prevention, prosecution, punishment, and rehabilitation.
Several reforms will be put forward during the current legislative session. These include a National Security Council bill, a National Intelligence bill, and the Conditional Release of Offenders bill. Anti-gang legislation will be brought to Parliament that will provide for stiffer penalties and prison terms for numbers of and acts of criminal institutions and organizations. Amendments are proposed to the Firearm Act, which will require safety training for everyone licensed to possess a firearm.
There are also plans to expand Supreme Court justices by 5 to help clear the backlog of cases and to introduce legislation to combat cybercrime. Pratt says a new Registrar General bill will help to ease the burden of doing business in the Bahamas, and the launch of a new online company registry portal will help to make the process of registration more efficient.
My government will also launch a new online civil platform to provide efficient, transparent services to Bahamians. My government is also mindful of the need to provide for greater protection of consumers and will therefore introduce consumer protection legislation. As the cost of energy is a sufficient driver of the high cost in the country, my government will undertake a root and branch review of the energy sector and has recently established a Ministry of Energy to implement effective, long-standing solutions.
Other measures include bringing a new LNG bill, introducing a bill to amend the National Insurance Act and regulations, and a new local government bill that will enhance the operation and response of local government.
My government will restructure the monthly assistance for seniors or other eligible persons that can be used to cover the cost of food, electricity, or water. My government will fulfill its promise and increase benefits for persons with disabilities. My government will also provide the much-needed post-school age facility for persons with disabilities. Bahamians' quality of life should be enhanced by legislation which will be put forward to ensure public access and right-of-way to beaches by requiring at least one public access to every beach. Dignity and respect should also come at the end of life. And so my government will also introduce a funeral industry service bill to bring about a regulatory framework for the funeral home industry. A new securities industry bill will be presented that will ensure that our financial services industry and its regulation maintain the highest level of regulatory integrity. A new digital asset registered exchanges bill will also be advanced, which will ensure that our country continues to lead from the front and in the digital assets industry.
All right, Jared Higgs with that report there. All right, so a good chunk the key points, I believe, of what was said yesterday. Let's get your reaction to it. Laverne, I know we spoke yesterday. You said you were making notes. Well, what stood out to you the most? And then we want to hear from our listeners as well.
I think that for me, the thing that stood out to most, and I don't know if it was in that part of the report, but what stood out to me was the National Development Plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so that stood out to me because, done correctly, that should transcend governments.
Yeah.
And
let me read a piece
I'm very interested. Yeah, read that.
Yeah, let me read that part. I have it right here. So, by putting the National Development Plan on a statutory footing, my government seeks to ensure that the next 50 years of our national life will have a firm strategic underpinning and focus. My government will introduce economic empowerment, will set out a range of incentives and concessions to support specific industries in specific geographic areas. And intellectual property legislation will be introduced to protect the country's creative industries and empower our orange economy. This legislation will unlock paths to job and wealth creation. And then the cannabis that so many other people were prepared to lose their minds over if they didn't hear about it. New opportunities will be created by legislation regulating cannabis and hemp. Several rounds of public consultations have already been completed, and my government notes the widespread enthusiasm amongst the public for this new health and economic sector. So there wasn't much said about the National Development Plan bill, but just know that is a promise that they would make it, put it on a statutory footing. So I guess it would be a little more concrete than what we've seen in the past, where government changes and it just that's not even a discussion point anymore. So that is encouraging if they can do it. We need to get to it quickly. Time goes by very, very fast. But,
when you think about it, everything else that was said yesterday, it really come out of that National Development Plan. Everything else that you're doing should be underpinned by this National Development Plan. You know what I mean? All of that. We're doing this because this, and it also, it helps to keep us in line with this overall National Development Plan for the country that will span governments, whomever, prime ministers. This is what we as a country, we are working towards. And so all of the decisions that we make will be based on this plan, this national plan.
Right. I think we talked about it yesterday and just before we went to the speech from the throne about the matters that were, when the House was prorogued, that the bills and other legislation that had been promised went away, but most of that seemed to have come back. So that's good. That's encouraging. They will continue with most of that. So there was no reason to fear about that. But, again, so I wrote down some things as well that struck me. National Intelligence Bill, this... okay. I don't know why.
What does that mean?
Right. What does it mean? I don't know. I spy again. Kate popped into my head. Here we go again with this. And the Firearms Act and the training that will be required for people who have firearms, and that's interesting. And then this sounds a lot like what Wayne Monroe was talking about, and a possible expansion of who might be able to certain types of firearms from what we have right now in place, right? So, interesting there. Some other things, a National Forest Bill. We know we've had issues over the past few years, people just doing whatever they wish with the few forests that are left on some of our islands, and consumer protection, and acknowledging that we are in the top 10 of the highest cost to live in the world, and how the government says they don't want that to be the case. Well, we will see. We will see.
Yeah.
And of course,
also, sorry, one of the other. Well, I have lots of notes, but one of the other things that I circled in my notes was every beat.
Yes, that's on mine as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm curious about this funeral industry bill.
Yeah.
The regularization of that. What does that mean?
Well, there've been a lot of complaints. All right, we've heard some horror stories, and the need for standards across the industry. Even some people in the industry have complained about it, that there aren't rules across the board, and that some people can do right. Some funeral operators are doing whatever they want.
Okay.
And so that would be welcome, I'm sure. Welcome. Any others on your list?
Let's see here. Of course, we're always interested in energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is it? 100 megawatts of solar energy. New renewable energy.
Renewable energy bill.
LNG bill.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The restructure of the monthly assistance program.
Mm-hmm.
I see, and it could just be me. I feel like that has been restructured about 1,000 times, but that just could be me. So I was like, okay, what are we restructuring again?
Well, I guess with the cost of living going up all the time, you're gonna have to keep restructuring that. So, yeah.
And I'm always I'm always pleased to hear about increased benefits for persons with disabilities.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So,
those are some of the highlights. My main highlights.
Right. One that I'm cautiously optimistic about, the local government bill enhancing that. They talked about that. But again, not really mentioning New Providence and then the downtown development that they talked about. Hey, that's a way to go. That is. You could just do expanded local government for New Providence and possibly achieve the same results and at least have the people have a say in it. But we don't seem to want. No, we don't seem to want to do that. We don't want the people to have the say. Just want to appoint people to a board or hire somebody to do it, and who won't be answerable to the people. No.
Power.
Yeah.
Can't release too much power.
Right.
I empower too many people.
Right.
The more I empower people, the more I lose power.
Yeah, I guess.
I still have to be in control.
Boy. Yes, that's how kings talk. Thrones, when you use words like that, right? Yep. That's how it is, but oh well. All right, so let's get your reaction to it, folks. 323-6232. 325-435-4259, or call us toll free 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. Already getting a few of your text messages in. This one says here, after Brave Davis's government promised us procurement reform, then 2 years later, the Prime Minister himself defends a self-insured contractor with a transitioning verbal contract. The only thing we can take away from the speech from the throne is who was there and what they had on. But personally, I liked Mother Pratt's hat. That's the text. Okay. Well.
That I know it's sarcasm in there, but that was nice.
Yeah? Okay. All right. It was big. It's a big hat. But yeah. This person says here, looks like Grand Bahama got pushed to the back burner again. Laverne, as a fellow Grand Bahamian. Did you hear anything about Grand Bahama?
No. And what do they mean that we got pushed to the back?
You're not even on the stove. Hey.
Yeah.
Not even on the stove. You're in the fridge.
Already. No,
you might be in the freezer.
Okay, Dwight, I think I told you got to be careful with how many jokes you crack about Grandpa.
Did I meet the quota already?
Yes,
Oh,
you
okay.
only allowed so much
Oh,
because
I'm
you're
sorry.
not from Grand Bahama, so
No,
tread
again, I
lightly.
tell you, I have connections to Grand Bahama. I think I can
I
make.
told
I
you,
can make.
I told you no. I told you
What?
no.
My grandmother? Come on, man.
No,
And
I
my
told
father
you
was
no.
born in West End. Come on. I'm practically Grand Bahamian.
No,
No? You sure? Anyway,
I'm sure.
okay. So, but some of these initiatives will be beneficial to everyone across the country. They may not be specific to Grand Bahama, but they're going to benefit a lot of people, right? It's not right. So I don't know if it's fair to say that entirely, but I don't know if the speech from the throne would be the place you'd want to hear specifics about who's buying this and who's putting this there,
Right.
right? It's a general thing.
Well, as a Grand Bahamian, I had no expectation that we would hear anything specific to Grand Bahama, if I'm honest. So I can't say that I was disappointed because it
Okay.
was never never my expectation.
Well, the texture goes on to say, Laverne, please chew them alive because this is simply not right. 2 years later, no hospital, no hotel, which is really an upscale clinic on the top of the hospital, and still no airport. And then they want to head into a by-election. This on call one and done. This one's called one and done. Well, I'm sure they did not want a by-election, but they have to have one now. But we are hearing the plans of the hospital are moving along, isn't it? No? The hotel, we've got many interested buyers. And right,
What
isn't
are
that what
you
they say?
talking about?
A number of interested. And when there's more to say,
Right.
that's what they keep saying.
Right, exactly. That's what's being said. That's
don't
what
believe
they
it?
keep saying. No.
What?
I told you then, and I'm telling you now. No,
Oh dear. Okay.
no. I don't buy it. I don't believe it.
And just
I'm not
yesterday,
interested in. We have 6 people interested, 1,000 people, a dozen people. No,
well, at least people are interested.
I'm really over that.
People are interested. That's always encouraging. And don't you? For yesterday, we had a report in the paper about a company, a British company, I believe it was, that is mapping out the plan for the airport or something like that. The language was
The contract, the people, the company. Wouldn't that be the whomever they decided or agreed upon would have the contract to develop the airport?
the way the
So-
human race is now. I mean, it's amazing how you can finagle. I don't know what word to use, but you can get yourself in as consulted in the very unusual way. So the headline was UK group working on timeline for GB airport development.
Well, okay, but is this not the same group? Because didn't they have some UK people involved in the group that was awarded or won or however you want to frame that the contract to develop the airport?
Well, I don't know if these are the same people. I'm not sure. But
Well, why wouldn't it be the same people?
well, let me read just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Manchester Airport Group is working with the government to understand what the timeline will be for the development of a new Grand Bahama International Airport. You're getting that? They're working with the government to understand what the timeline will be for the development of a new Grand Bahama International Airport.
It sounds like we're going backwards instead of forward.
I don't sound. It
The
sounds like
other
you're going
day, the
nowhere.
announcement, the other day, the announcement was, okay, we have this developer and in this development, they had some Bahamians as well as some people out of the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Oh.
That was the announcement.
Well, let's see if it's
right?
in here.
So,
This
what's
company's
this?
director says that the timeline for the airport really is a piece of work that we're undertaking now. So we're working
I
very.
don't even understand what that means.
It's a piece of work. You better. Those true words have. Anyway, so we're working very closely with the government to move that along as quickly as we can. The new Grand Bahama International Airport is expected to be developed by a Bahamian group called Aerodrome Limited, along with Manchester Airport Group and UK-based BHM Construction International UK. Right? The partnership was announced in March and was the possibility that was announced in March, and as was the possibility that the full build-out of the airport could take 5 years and employ 1,200 Bahamians in that time. So Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Chester Cooper, said the development of the new international airport and U.S. pre-clearance facility will cost $200 million and funded through UK export finance. Yeah, so, but again, right now they are working to understand what the timeline will be. So.
Words. Just words.
Yeah, but, so that's a movement.
It's just words.
Let's see what this caller is.
Me?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight, and of course, Laverne.
Hi, yes.
Good morning, Raymond.
Dwight, LNG. Who owns LNG?
It's not a company, that's a thing.
Say it again?
It's not a company, it's a thing.
It's a what?
It's a thing. Liquefied natural gas. It's no one can own it. It's not a company.
Okay, but how the government got in contact with it, whereby the government has to have a national bill for them?
It's a thing, Bremen. It's not a company. So it's a thing. So there are companies that provide LNG, companies that, right? But it's just a bill that they're trying to do. It's not the first time we've talked about it, but it's not a company. It's not a company. They're companies that provide it.
It all has to do with renewable energy, Bremen. So that's just another aspect of what kind of energy that the government can use in terms of power.
Okay, this texter says, why does it seem like Freeport got shafted again? This is a disgrace. They came in saying Grand Bahama was top of the list. Look like we got put at the bottom again, and they think I will vote for them again. Vote out, I say. Speech just like wasn't ready for me. Okay. Well, I mean, did you hear any islands mentioned at all? I mean, again, it was just very general.
They did say the speech from the throne did include some family islands infrastructure. Talked about that, but they didn't speak. The speech didn't speak. It just said family island. It didn't speak to any island in particular.
Right.
As I said, I'm not disappointed because I came in with no expectation for Grand Bahama. I didn't expect to hear anything specific about Grand Bahama.
This person says here, being that most of the last speech from the throne is incomplete, I didn't have much comfort that much of this will be. I don't have much comfort. Okay. Well, I mean, it's only been 2 years. Okay. Let's take some more calls. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Ms. Gardner-Laverne. Hope you're doing well.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know what the old people say, that paper would lie down and let you write anything on it, And somebody also said, after all is said and done, more is always said than done. So the proof will be in the pudding, so to speak. But Dwight, in regards to the Grand Bahama issue, the last pronouncement that was made on that was made by the Prime Minister when he attended the coronation of the King of England. And he said that...
And the Bahamas.
Pardon me?
And the Bahamas.
Right. He said that they was given a $1 billion, right, by the China Exim Bank or something like that. And that they, because they didn't want to add to the national debt, that they would draw down on this $1 billion. $200 million of which, he said, would be used for the funding of the Grand Bahama Airport. How long has it been, right, since we got a new king?
I mean, the coronation was earlier this year.
Right.
And don't forget that he came and circled back and explained Grand Bahama and Family Island Airport.
Well, I mean, this particular one was to have been in collaboration with this the same group that was in Grand Bahama previously, who was given the so-called contract to build the airport. And so, to me, it's just a bunch of what they call semantics. Okay,
Right.
I applaud the government and all the initiatives that they want to do. I'm particularly interested in the development plan. He said several months ago that he would reconstitute the board and whatnot. Has that been done as yet? And so all of these things is just about talk. I am still waiting. Mr. Carl Oliver said that in the first month of October, that a list of all of the contracts will be published because they were waiting on one particular government entity. This is now the first month in October, Dwight.
Week. Mm-hmm.
Week in October. Mm-hmm. Has that been done as yet? You see, if you say that it's a new day, you have to do things differently, man. You have to show us that you are different from the other guys. Mm. I don't see any difference between this government and any previous government. Mm. It may be a new day, Dwight, but it's the same. You know what? Mm. Every day is the same thing over and over again. So the opposition, they wanted to appoint, I understand, somebody different who was not a backbencher on the PAC, contrary to the rules of Parliament. So Mr. Pintat had to get up and say, that is not how it's done. So they want to stack the PAC with their people, like they're trying, instead of make it more transparent, this government's trying to cover up things. Instead of saying, run, come see the book. You just like the other guys that were before you. So I'm not looking for anything from this government. But if the government is offering something that I can benefit from, I will definitely take advantage of that.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Well, you mentioned first week of week. Well, we still have today and tomorrow, so we'll see.
Right.
All right. Let's take these calls quickly, and then we got to go to a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning. Thank you. Let me be quick about it.
Mm-hmm.
I have listened to the new Governor General, I think that's what you call it. I've listened to her when she used to preach. And the conviction that I got from her then, I didn't see as though she was more convinced about her material yesterday or whenever she did this presentation that she did not write. So,
it was yesterday.
It didn't come across as though she even was convinced that what she was talking about is going to be materialized in any form. But I can tell you something that Bahamians have overlooked. We do have a national development plan. We have the national development plan, but it's for the other two nationals living in this. So we do have one, okay?
Okay. Good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh, my. And let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? No, call us back in a bit. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. And a toll-free 242-300-5720. Okay, we're going to read some messages as we go to the break. This person says here, Dwight Laverne. Dwight asked Laverne if that state funeral for oh my goodness. Okay. Well, anyway, if the state funeral for O.B. Wilshcombe will create a direct financial injection into the island, it's telling Grand Bahama, I don't want all the cameras there in West Grand Bahama to expose the truth, the sad state about the island. Not sure I entirely understand the question, but Laverne, I don't know if you care to comment on
that. I'm sure the state funeral, people traveling in, having to rent cars, things like that, people will see those people who are in that business. I'm sure they may see an increase
Mm-hmm.
West End is as West End has always been.
Mm-hmm. All right, this Texas.
There's no new shiny development in West End.
Well, this Texas still the capital of Grand Bahama, right?
Yes.
Oh, isn't that something? Isn't that something? This texter says, I didn't hear a bill to keep daylight saving time year round. You're hilarious, texter. Daylight saving time gives us a good distribution of daylight between mornings and evenings. This is a low-hanging fruit. Texter, I support it 100%, but come on now, let's not pretend. Let's not pretend. If the U.S. doesn't do it, we won't do it. No.
You know it.
Within
if the U.S. doesn't do it, we're not going to do anything.
15 minutes
That's
of the U.S. enacting that, we will do it.
You haven't announced.
It could be on New Year's Day, and the House will meet.
Don't matter. Mm-hmm.
So, but we're not going to do that on our own. Come on now. Can you imagine? You can't cause confusion to the poor people of Miami when we're an hour ahead in the winter. There'll be catastrophe, right? Boy, but I hear you. I hear you. If only we had the guts to move ahead and to move out on our own like that, right? It'd be great. This person says we're a bunch of fools if we believe that the words of these politicians will materialize. We are clowns in this circus. It's absolutely ridiculous how stupid we are. Wow, that is a lot. All right, callers, we'll get back to you after the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Whether you're looking for your first or new home or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
It is time for your first look at traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Start your home journey with an RBC mortgage today. In your real-time traffic this morning, we're seeing a number of hot spots already for you. We've got Milo Butler Highway, as usual. Heavy traffic from Fire Trail Road straight up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway and the northbound lanes there. Gladstone Road also busy for you from Fire Trail straight up to JFK Drive. We're seeing some congestion on JFK eastbound, so that's along Lake Cunningham and between the roundabouts. So westbound on the way to the roundabout with Gladstone and Bahamar Boulevard, and especially eastbound on the way to Prospect Ridge and Tonic Williams Darling Highway. Elsewhere, we've got Independence Drive, heavy traffic westbound especially on the way to the roundabout with Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill also busy for you near Carmichael and north of Soldier on the way to that roundabout. A bit of congestion eastbound as well on Independence Drive on the way to East Street and the East-West Highway roundabout. East Street between Soldier and that roundabout busy this morning northbound. Further east, we've got Eastern Road, heavy traffic from San Souci straight up to Johnson Road, and then things get a little bit better for you. Bernard Road also busy near the schools in the area, and Prince Charles Drive, the major intersections, especially Beatrice Avenue and Soldier Road. And Soldier between Soldier and Old Joe Robinson Road, heavy traffic for you there, even straight through to the intersection with Marathon Road and East-West Highway. Marathon Road also busy for you northbound. Have another update for you after the 8 o'clock news. Morning Blend traffic brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with RBC today. And at 7:52, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Easy Car Sales. We've got troughing and moisture that's going to support some shower activity over the southeastern Bahamas. Meanwhile, a weak pressure pattern and drier air will lower rain chances and support light to gentle breezes across the rest of the country. Boaters should be alert for waterspout activity, and beachgoers should exercise caution along Atlantic exposed shorelines due to possible rip currents. For all areas today, forecast calls for partly cloudy and hot conditions with a chance of a few isolated showers or thunderstorms, becoming mostly fair and mild at night with a stray shower or two possible. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near showers and thunderstorms. Small craft caution in effect due to swells along today in store. Highs getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. In your extended outlook, an additional plume of dry air will enter the area while a weak pressure pattern will persist over the weekend, supporting gentle breezes. So for Friday, tomorrow, partly sunny and hot with a few isolated showers, becoming fair and mild at night. Saturday, partly to mostly sunny and hot with a few quick passing showers, becoming mostly fair and mild at night for your holiday weekend. Yes, Monday, National Heroes Day. That's your look at weather. We'll have a look at the tropics in our next weather check after the 8 o'clock news. But this weather check brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Hey, are you stuck in traffic, wasting expensive gas? Well, Easy Car Sales invites you to take a test drive in an electric vehicle today. 0 emissions, maximum excitement. Visit easy242.com and find out how you can turn your daily commute into a joyride.
There's a new electric vehicle in town. The Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans. Available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL. Growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
From creating a smooth, functioning solution, integrating multiple IT systems designed to give your company one streamlined, functional workflow.
The custom software design and maintenance that optimizes your business operations.
Plato Alpha Design has changed the game.
Security auditing that ensures we identify any gaps or vulnerabilities in your system to protect your business.
Project management with proven processes, tools, and training.
Led by a team with the know-how to effectively get the job done, keeping your business up to global standards.
Plato Alpha Design.
The leaders.
Leaders.
Leaders. Leaders. The leaders in digital transformation.
Contact us today to schedule your free demo at 812-2195.
Wherever you are in the world, Cleveland Clinic's world-class care is here for you. From Ohio to Florida to London, Cleveland Clinic treats thousands of patients every year. Ranked number 2 in the world by Newsweek, you can trust our caregivers to enhance your experience across each step of your treatment journey. For every care in the world, learn more at clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Struggling to repay your loan? Let us help you get back on track with payment terms that suits your financial situation and improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Inquire about our restructured loans today. Call us at 356-7764.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. Let's take this call really quickly before we go to the news. Good morning, caller. You are on the air. Are you still there? Hi, good morning. I hear you. I hear us. something. Hi, yes, good morning. We can hear you. Are you there? Yes, good morning. We can hear you. Okay. Well, what was that? Yeah, Laverne. All right. Oh, boy. Let's read some more messages. This person says here, so they've made some arrangements, changes with the funeral. Okay, we're going to get all the details about that. So he may still be buried in Grand Bahama, but the official state funeral will be here. So yeah? Okay. All right. Yeah, so you have to balance this. It's tough. Balance what the family wants with, right? The expectations of someone of his stature, right? So that often doesn't mesh, but hopefully they met a good compromise. Hopefully they did. This person says here, that speech was lots of fluff as usual. I expected lots of talk, expected very little, though. By next year, the government will go straight into campaign mode and rally mode, so expect lots of parties and little of nothing. Oh, boy. I really hope not. This next year, I mean, I know people are thinking that, but it doesn't have to be that way. Right? I mean, you really could get quite a bit done in your third year, don't you think? Before you start getting into campaign stuff?
If you really want to.
Yeah.
It always amazes me that things take a while over here until it doesn't. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
We get done very quickly.
Right.
What we deem important and that we want to get done.
When you really want to.
And when we're not, right. And when we're not so interested, it could take forever. It may never happen.
Absolutely.
But if it's important to us, and I mean that even from a government
perspective. Oh, yeah.
If it's important and it's necessary, especially if they think it's going to garner votes their way, it'll happen overnight.
Absolutely. We're going to go to the news. We'll pick this up on the other side. I want to hear from you all. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 4224796. Standard text rates apply. And now at 8:20, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by First Online Insurance. We've got troughing and available moisture that's going to support some shower activity over the southeast Bahamas today. A weak pressure pattern and drier air will lower rain chances for the rest of the country and will support some light to gentle breezes as well. Boaters should be alert, though, for water spout activity, and beachgoers should exercise caution along Atlantic exposed shorelines due to possible rip currents. Your forecast for today, partly cloudy and hot with a chance of a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, becoming mostly fair and mild at night with a stray shower or two possible. Smoke-craft caution in effect due to swells along Atlantic exposures. Temperatures getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, but the overnight lows tonight getting down about 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. In your extended outlook, an additional plume of dry air will enter the area while a weak pressure pattern will persist over the holiday weekend, supporting gentle breezes. So for Friday, tomorrow, partly sunny and hot with a few isolated showers, becoming fair and mild at night. Saturday, partly mostly sunny and hot with a few quick passing showers, becoming mostly fair and mild at night. Inleep continues northward and could bring tropical storm conditions to Bermuda as early as tonight. As of 5 o'clock, Philippe was about 445 miles north of St. Thomas. After soaking some of the islands in the Lesser Antilles, Philippe is moving toward the north near 14 miles per hour. And this general motion with an increase in forward speed expected through Saturday. On the forecast track, the center of Philippe will pass near Bermuda on Friday and approach eastern New England and Atlantic Canada on Saturday. Maximum sustained winds are near 40 miles per hour with higher gusts. Gradual strengthening is forecast during the next few days, and Philippe could become a post-tropical cyclone on Saturday as it approaches Atlantic Canada and New England. Now that is your morning blend weather check, brought to you by First Online Insurance, powered by Bahamas First. At firstonlineinsurance.com, you can choose your agent, get a quote, and buy your home or auto insurance policy 100% online. firstonlineinsurance.com. 8:23, the time for another check of your traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Start your home journey with RBC and an RBC mortgage today. In your real-time traffic, the hot spots are even hotter now. We've got Milo Butler Highway, heavy traffic from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout straight up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway. Traffic backed up along Tawny Williams Darling Highway as well, eastbound to that roundabout. And at the six-legged roundabout, we're seeing heavy traffic in multiple directions. Northbound on Milo Butler Highway, East Highway, and some building traffic on Farrington Road, on the Farrington Road side. And then on West Bay Street, near Saunders Beach, heavy traffic for you eastbound on West Bay, heading toward the roundabout, and then even further east, heading toward Arawak Key. Glass Road looking pretty good, though, except for JFK, the roundabout there. Traffic is backed up a bit along Lake Cunningham. So there might be some traffic assistance there, helping with that effort. Carmichael Road is busy, westbound to Coral Harbor Road, and then at the intersection with Milo Butler Highway and Faith Avenue, that area is looking congested. And to Cowpen Road near Faith Avenue, heavy traffic eastbound. And further along Cowpen at Blue Hill Road. And straight through to Zion Boulevard. Not looking pretty for you there. Blue Hill Road near Carmichael and up to Independence Drive and straight through to Cordo Avenue. Also heavy traffic there. And Independence Drive is a total mess, especially westbound between the roundabouts at East Street and Blue Hill Road. East Street and Soldier also congested at any point. Soldier near Windsor Place, Soldier near Old Trail, Soldier at Robinson and Prince Charles, and straight through to Village Road. Just not pleasant. And Eastern Road as well, from just west of San Souci to Johnson Road, heavy traffic for you there. That's what we're looking at this morning. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with RBC today.
Whether you're looking for your first or new home, or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique, and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
There's a new electric vehicle in town, the Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave back. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
This is Guardian Radio,
Your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Deep in my bones, kicking a habit I love even harder. You wanna know? I just wanna dive in the water with you, baby. We can't see the bottom. It's so easy to fall for each other. I'm just hoping we catch one another.
Just be careful, nah. Love ain't simple, nah. Promise me no promises. Oh, nah. Just be careful, nah. Love ain't simple, nah. Promise me no promises.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Thursday morning. We are getting a reaction to the opening of Parliament, the speech from the throne yesterday, hearing what you thought about what you heard. Lots of promises, but how much will get done? We will see. 3 years to go about. And you can call us 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. All right. This text here. Oh boy, okay. This one says here, why are we so happy about who is the Governor General? How do we benefit? The fact that we don't have proper consumer protection speaks volumes about this so-called nation, jokey country. Okay. You do have consumer protection, but they want to strengthen it. Right? And people are happy about the Governor General because they respect the person, all right? The office is a challenge for some of us, what it represents. But the people, person, I mean, it's not right? It's a nice reward for somebody who has been giving years of service to the country. But what it stands for can be challenging for some. Many don't have an issue with it. When I talk about it, people tell me to shut up. But no issues with the people. All right, so let's hear what the opposition had to say. We talked a lot about what was promised. The leader of the opposition, Michael Pintard, says it's all recycled ideas. Take a listen to this report from our Jared Higgs.
Opposition leader Michael Pintard called the speech more of the same.
What is worrisome about today is that we sat through 60 minutes of recycled ideas and initiatives by the Davis-led administration. A conservative count of what they would have accomplished over the last 2 years reveal that at least 60 of the 87 promises, commitments made in the last speech from the throne were not accomplished. They added on goals an additional 63 commitments, some of which, again, were old commitments.
Pintard promised that the opposition would continue to demand answers from government on issues surrounding immigration matters and the FTX fallout.
I've noticed that when we return to Parliament, the same issues that forced the government to prorogue the House are the issues we are going to start with. We have more than 60 questions related to immigration alone. We have questions about FTX. We ask the government to come clean with us on what role did FTX play in making any investments or proposals to this government to assist the government in its initiative, and what did the government give them or assure them of in return?
Pintard blasted government for its handling of matters on Grand Bahama, claiming that government is performing worse than the previous administration did in the year when it performed the weakest.
What was also missing was any conversation about Grand Bahama and the challenges this economy faces. On the eve of an election that this administration is going to be engaged in very shortly, there was no discussion about a failed airport development, which they have stopped. This administration, despite indicating that it had $400 million in a loan facility, have stopped communicating both with the Bahamian consortium that won the bid, as well as the international partners that are also a part of the arrangement. No discussion about the failed hotel sale and their abysmal performance in Dorian relief. Our worst year while in office and addressing the Dorian concerns is better than their best year.
There, now that's interesting. He's claiming that the government had stopped communicating with the group that we just talked about a few minutes ago, Laverne. But they're meeting with one part of the group to determine. Right. What did I say? How did we put that? That
Right.
was
They
determine.
said that they're meeting with the UK.
Right, to determine, to understand the timeline.
Understand the timeline, whatever.
For the wave.
Right? Forward.
Right.
You know words. You know how we
Right.
put words together.
Because it
right?
is a
'Cause it
really
just
a
sound
piece
like
of
something.
work. It really is a piece of work that we're undertaking right now.
You know what? That thought is very accurate. This really is a piece of work, right?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so perhaps they're communicating with them to narrow down and figure out this timeline. But the Bahamian part of the consortium,
Well, that sounds about right. That's how we like it.
right? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that correct? I don't know. How does he know? Interesting.
Someone must have said something.
Right.
Well, you know how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said something, or some people said something, but there it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's get your reaction, folks. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Toll free, 242-300-5720. Is it fair to say it's recycled ideas when the things don't exist? We've talked about them before, but they don't exist. So,
Right.
I mean, is that right to say it? These are things that we've talked about that we desperately... So, okay, you're bringing it back. At least you remember that you promised it before, and you're going to do it again. Is that the way to look at it, as opposed to saying it's recycled ideas?
As opposed to looking at it as, hey, we know that we promised these things, and we still have those in mind.
Right. Because, I mean, it hurts to not
As
hear you
opposed to
mention it
just
ever again.
Abandoning
Yeah,
all
exactly.
of them,
Exactly.
and then just bringing in a set of new ideas.
Right.
Maybe. Right?
Maybe?
So this is just to let you know that we haven't forgotten the what we said initially from the throne.
Mhm.
We're still working on these things.
5,
and then
10,
here are
15
a
years
couple of
later.
new things that we've added.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And we're going to go back and amend a couple of things that we brought with great fanfare before. Yeah, well.
We
and-
tone those down because they ain't really happening.
or up. They might make it even crazier, right?
Right.
The stem cell thing, you remember that? But that's okay.
That's exactly. That's
This call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi. Good morning. You're on the air.
Great. Listen, Dwight, I was happy to hear that they're going to reintroduce the National Apprenticeship Program or board. But any apprenticeship program that they have that do not include hand-in-hand with on-the-job experience will be useless. Also, Dwight, next year will be 2024, and that'll be 50 years since Lyndon Act introduced the National Apprenticeship Program. And before that, there was an apprentice wellness program. So in some instance, you can look at it as some recycled idea. But hopefully that this one that they introduced now will actually continue, and they are seriously talking with the apprenticeship board because work and also studying, whether it's BTVI or some other technical institute, must go hand in hand in order for that apprenticeship program to be worth anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. There was the national service, but it sounded like it would be voluntary, right?
Voluntary, right.
Well, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out of that.
Why? Why do you think it's going to? Do you think people won't volunteer? Young people won't volunteer?
It depends on what it is and how it's framed, you know?
Right. That's right. You have to look at the devil will be in the details.
Yeah.
So.
And then, mandating.
It has to be attractive enough. If you're just expecting that young people will volunteer out of love of country or anybody really, and that's an altruistic kind of way of thinking. But no, I benefit from this. Aside from love of country, does this make sense for me?
And then, that's important, but why does it have to be that love of country? Well, see, what does that mean, love of country?
No,
if it's going to be of great personal development, is that not enough? I'm just asking, right? Would that be? And if you can show it's voluntary, oh boy, it's going to be fascinating how this goes. But we've talked about it before on the show. About mandating everybody of a certain age to be involved in something, mandating it, which is very challenging by itself. But if you can prove that you already in this club or you do this activity, and then so that would mean that you wouldn't have to be placed into some sort of service or something, right? You know what I mean? Would that be enough? But voluntary, okay.
Right. Well, like we said, if it's going to be voluntary, it has to be framed in such a way that people get it, like they see the value of becoming a part of it, whether it's personal development, whether it's whatever. I see the benefits of this. I see where, or not even if because it'll be first out. I see where there's a possibility where I can benefit, where I can grow from this, and so. This is an alternative for me. This is another option for me to be a part of something.
It sounds like money. Sounds like money. And that's unfortunate if it goes in that direction.
So does it have to be money, though?
That's the only way you get some people to see the benefit for them.
Right.
If it's voluntary. If it's voluntary, right? Otherwise, ew. Wait. Let's take these calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Laverne. Good morning, Dwight. Seattle Johnson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Getting the speech from the throne, and I was telling the wife, I was like, hey, isn't it nice that they're actually doing a recap of all the things they have said before they give us the new stuff? And she says, no, that's the actual speech.
Oh, boy. Right.
Alex?
Listen to me. What they prove, they are cemented in the past and deniers of the future. We heard a lot of plan to, want to, hope to. It's literally, these people have taken over the church message of hope being the new dope. And it's amazing that, what they say, remember they say when you hit rock bottom, sell dope? And it seems as if, though, that's the major message takeaway from this speech from the throne.
I've never heard that saying, by the way.
Oh, well,
Never.
Hang out where I hang out. Okay? When you start
I'd be afraid.
So what happens is this, right? The idea is we forget the fact that they said the Grand Bahama is the linchpin for the economic recovery and development of the Bahamas. We heard nothing about us. We heard nothing about Abaco in the truest sense. And I hear people say these are plans. These are not plans. These are ideas they put on the table. A plan comes from a vision, and then from the plan comes a strategy. Nothing, absolutely. If you were asked for a single word to describe the speech from the throne, you would say vacuous. Because I'm saying to you is, tell me a policy that you have seen or heard for the implementation of any of those things that has been said, considering that...
Well, that's what they're going to do. They're going to work on that now. They have to put in the policies to allow for these things to become a reality.
Okay, Dwight.
Right.
So in 30
there
years,
wasn't enough time to get into all of the details.
No, they had two. No. They had 2 years. No. What happens is this, right? You could submit. You could release supporting documents and other things that leads towards this. You release it as part of your release package to the press and everything else.
What?
The speech for the throne is not about governance. It's forecasting, right? But what it has to do, it has to be cemented in tools and strategies of achieving the same. I'm saying to you, the government have none, or they would have told us. They have not demonstrated. I mean, literally speaking, you could go through their last thing, and we have. What happens if you only do 25% of what you promised in the last time, including the low-hanging fruits? And I'm simply saying is that we have to ask government beyond the speech from the throne to bring us substantive, actionable ideas. We have an economy in crisis beyond the marketing. We are still facing the housing crisis, the food crisis, the education crisis. We are still facing infrastructure that's crumbling, an education platform that a plantation hasn't been fixed in 30 to 40 years. We have a hospital system. We're marketing clinics as hospitals. And you go, where is anything substantive that actually speaks to the future building correction or anything else of that sort? So, okay, good. You made we did the flowersy thing. Maybe from today on, the government can now take this as an opportunity to let people know what's now, what's new, and what's next. Because I heard nothing for the beyond saying we're going to have children, the kids volunteer, but no motivation that actually gets them to say, you are going to be building the future of the Bahamas.
No, you wouldn't hear that there, though, C. Allen. I mean, that's to come.
No,
but I do understand why you're concerned. We do get it.
You should bring, let me ask you a question, Dwight. If you know this reminds me of, right? The contractor that comes there without the building plan and then describes the house that you'll eventually see.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what it is.
Huh?
That is exactly what it is.
No, but
hopefully,
I'm saying, shouldn't the plan be already prepared? Do they have 2 years for this?
Maybe they've talked a little bit about it.
No, this is repeated the blueprint for change. Mm-hmm. They spend a year or more preparing it before election. Then they have 2 years of implementation. We're spending hundreds of millions of dollars per year in consultants in preparing it. I mean, I know Fortune 500 companies that don't spend as much for consultants as we do. And what do we have for that?
I hear.
What do we have? I mean, where's the supporting plans, real plans? Where's the supporting strategies? Where's the written policies of implementation and the resource to allocate towards it? Let me understand this. LNG, we are now leading the world in environment, and we're going to go back to carbon-based. Isn't LNG a byproduct of a part of the gas industry, the oil industry? That's not clean energy. That's the cleanest of the dirtiest. It's like you're saying, but sorry, I didn't wash the dishes, but that spoon right there, I only stirred my coffee with that one. That one day I ate with, just used the one I used to stir the coffee. It's still dirty. And so it's like, are we serious?
All right.
Mr. Brace Davis, I think you need to reboot. Maybe you need to call an election rather than a by-election. Thank you so much.
Oh, dear. Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like they're going to have with the energy, different uses, different types, not just solar, right? So it sounds like they're going to diversify. Which is what many have been saying. You just can't put all your eggs in the solar basket either. But I hear you. I don't think you would normally expect to get all that right now. Those are the things they're working on. Those are the things you should look out for. Lobbyists, if you are interested in any of those things, this is the time to get to the table if you can and get your ideas in, right? Because I don't know if you'd like it if they were as far along as you want. That would not be beneficial to people either. But this is the time to see if you can get your voice heard on those issues that they're looking at. Let's take some more calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Laverne.
Hi.
Listen, C. Allen is spot on. A lot of the stuff from the speech I can recall have been stuff that has been said by the few administrations, different administrations that we have had thus far. I see, honestly, not wanting to be a pessimist, but, I see no potential growth in anything that really was said from this one because we've heard this thing all before. Let me point out one or two things here. See, Alan was so right when you talk about green energy. There was really no mention, if any, of getting us away from the type of electrical generation plants that we have. That conversation, we haven't had those. It is quite apparent to many of us. And
I mean, they did talk
spend
about the
my time-
renewable energy bill. They talked about the solar, the expansion of solar here.
Yes,
And you
talk
brought this
about
even.
it, but there's no true actionary on how we're going to get it.
I mean,
That's
did you
what I'm trying
want to hear
get
that
at.
from the Governor General yesterday? You wanted to hear that from the Governor General? I mean, seriously, the Governor General, really?
Listen, the governor general is communicating to the Bahamian people the plans of the current administration.
Okay.
And if the plans are there, even if it comes through her, the Bahamian people need to know. She's only basically the mouthpiece for the government.
Exactly.
in
That's
this
why you won't.
exercise.
That's why you won't hear all the details.
Okay, so that is only one aspect. See, what I'm trying to get to you now, Dwight, is this. Bahamian people out here are now critical thinkers. We are logical thinkers. We are no longer doing surface anymore. We are below the surface, and our government should be quite succinct and clear to tell us precisely now, saying that this has been something that has been on the table for so long. Give us concrete plans on how you plan to implement and bring the resolution
So
to these
you
things.
all are you want something different from the speech from the throne. That is not supposed to be. That's right. This is really a show. It is a spectacle. It's not what you think. But this is an idea of what's supposed to come. Right, and it really wasn't necessary at all.
We understand all of that. Let me close on this
but
one
you're
point,
right
and
to
then
ask for those things, but don't expect it from the speech from the throne.
Okay. My last point. The last point here is, like I said, I spent my time with Bahamians on the ground. Okay? The general gist of this whole thing that comes about is the more things change, the more they remain the same. Somebody is benefiting from this chaos. Why we cannot get the advancements in this country? We are at a standstill with these things, still discussing the same things over and over and over. Somebody's benefiting from this, and we are going nowhere fast. Okay? So I'm just sending a shot over the bow to let the government know, this current administration, the same way how they beat up the former administration, they're going to get beat up. Get this country fixed. That's all we want. Thanks for taking my call.
Okay. Let's take another call. Good morning. You are on the air. Good morning. Your morning blend. All right. Let's take this other one. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you?
Doing well.
To your guests and to the nation, good morning. Listen, Dwight, we have 5 years, right? And recently it has been 5 years in, 5 years out, 5 years in, 5 years out. And in my humble opinion, as a citizen and a concerned citizen in this country, it is next to impossible to bring all of tuition in 5 years. I think if a government had maybe 10, like Sir Lyndon, who had 10, 15, 25 years, that's why Sir Lyndon was able to accomplish all of the things that he was able to accomplish, because his government continued. So, I don't understand citizens that, carry on the way they do when it is clear that they can see that a government is trying, but to try to bury them continuously because they're not getting what they want, I think it is kind of unfair. But maybe if the Davis administration were to get a second term around, maybe they can complete an abundance of these things that they're putting forth to the citizens. So maybe the citizens need to start thinking in that direction and everything. And in my humble opinion, me being around them, all right, they have reinstated the phrase that the Right Honorable A.D. Hanna would have made, that their endeavor is to wipe the tear from every eye of every citizen in this country, including those who are complaining and carrying on so bad, and I think they should. I think they're focused, and I think they're heading in a direction where they can get a lot of the stuff implemented that they're bringing to the people.
Okay, I hear you. Some will say that they better wipe away the tears because people can't afford to buy the Kleenex. But I hear you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Morning Blend. Hello. So they're just calling to tie up the lines. Good morning. You're on the air. Hi. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. We can hear you.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah. I don't agree with that caller at all. I think if they need a second term. If you cannot complete what you did in the first half of your first term, I'll elect you again. That don't make any sense.
Well, I mean, I understand where he's coming from, but I mean, you got to prove that you actually accomplished some things, right? Because we've seen it before where people said they wanted a second term, but they didn't do anything in the first, right? They squandered the time, they wasted time, they got embroiled in scandals and nonsense, and so that's a hard ask if you didn't do as much as you could have. Right. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, and so I always like Laverne commentary, but I kind of disagree with it this morning. I think the speech should have been a little bit more personal, especially for Grand Bahama. First 2.5 years, absolutely nothing, basically. What else are we to look forward to?
I'm just saying I didn't have an expectation that I'm at that place where I don't believe that we're in considered no expectation that Grand Bahama would be mentioned.
Boy, so we just ended up.
Because I don't think that we're even considered. Someone said we're put to the back burner. I don't think that we're even on the stove. And so that is why I said I did not have an expectation. The lack of my expectation is born out of my disappointment and disillusionment.
Oh my!
I understand. I kind of agree, But so right now, it's just pretty words on the paper.
You're calling us from Family Island?
From Grand Bahama.
Okay, great. Yeah, boy. So you wanted to hear more specifically about your island?
Yeah, because time is running out.
Yeah. I hear you. It's rough. It's very rough. Hopefully,
the pilot program for the lunch program, that's pretty good, but that's going to affect one school until they get that program together. But I mean, you need, even if they tackle the dilapidated hotels out in Grand Bahama, because we got Silver Sands, Xanadu, the Royal Oasis, some parts of Grand Lucaya, there's so much things that they could have done to focus and laser in on Grand Bahama. There should have been something for Grand Bahama, at least mentioned.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate you calling in. Thank you. All right. And you can do what he's doing as well. Call us on the toll-free line if you're on the Family Islands, 242-300-5720. Let's take these other calls before we have to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on Morning Blend.
Morning, Dwight. How are you, man?
Doing well.
Thought I would chime into the conversation before you had to break.
Hey, Latre Rammond. Good morning.
How are you, man?
All right.
So obviously you're speaking about the government speech from the throne, so I thought I would chime in and answer any question you may have.
So you hear people saying they wanted to hear specifics, especially about Grand Bahama, and they noticed there was not much mentioned there.
Well, I think the Prime Minister has already been on record talking about that he does not support the status quo that exists in Grand Bahama, and that is the operation and operandus. I think the Grand Bahama Port Authority continues to be a challenge for the government insofar as fulfilling its mandate. So from a structural issue, the government is not looking at the legislation, looking at the Hawks-Bill agreement to see how they could better improve it. Obviously, there are dialogue and conversations going on between the trustees and the managers of the port and the operators of the port to ensure that they get to some kind of relationship or meaningful relationship where they could bring the kind of benefits that the GPA was intended to do. The PM has already been on record indicating his level of dissatisfaction on the Grand Bahama Port Authority's management of Freeport. The government has made its position clear that they want to reset on the issue. Insofar as infrastructure-wise, the government intends to improve the healthcare infrastructure in Grand Bahama with a new hospital, lighting up its plan on the airport. As you are aware, the airport was impacted during Hurricane Dorian. The Deputy Prime Minister was on Chivago Line when he spoke to government narrowing down place for the Grand Lucayan Hotel, and he will not be premature in making those announcements, but they are shortlisting a number of prospective buyers.
Mm-hmm. All right, so with Grand Bahama.
Sorry, Dwight, I have a question. So do you think, Latre, that...
This is Laverne, my co-host, Laverne Gardner.
Okay, sorry, go ahead, Laverne.
Yeah. So do you think that, the dissatisfaction the government feels with the Port Authority, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and their relationship not being what they would like it to be, or the government feeling that the Grand Bahama Port Authority is not living up to their obligations and responsibility? So do you think that then that also directly impacts any investment strategies or potential for the eastern and western parts of the island, which really they're not under the purview of the Grand Bahama Port Authority because they're really only Freeport and Hyatt.
Well, I mean, there's twofold. One of the things that the government would like to achieve is how do we look at the island of Grand Bahama's history, right? Now, how do we to get the issue of Grand Bahama to its full intended potential? Insofar as the issues of, I know there has been talks with the government to look at ways to complete and finalize projects on the eastern side of the island, and with investment in education, investment in government services. And there is a project going on, I think it's about to, the Ministry of Public Services, I think, is finalizing the furnitures for those complexes. So there are investments in the education sector aspect of the island and also governmental services. When you look at really trying to drive and diversify the economy of Grand Bahama and to stimulate growth, the key driver in that is the Grand Bahama Port Authority. That was the system that intended to be. That is the infrastructure. And if the infrastructure is not working to service the needs of the Grand Bahama people, then the government have a fundamental obligation to look at the system and to see how it could reset in a way that truly benefits persons, to improve the efficiency of businesses, to ensure that there is confidence in the economy, that people want to invest. Persons want to know that there is a system that is working, that truly supports the economy, supports its growth, supports its industries, and particularly the maritime industry. So to your point, the government is making investments in the eastern part of Grand Bahama, particularly on the investment in a new school, and particularly an investment in essential government services.
And the western part?
The western, that's talking about the I think the school, I believe, is in the I think in the western part of the island.
Western part of the island.
Of the island, yeah. I think the school is in the western part of the island. I'm sure.
All right. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people aren't going to. That's not going to.
The government complex is in 8 Mile Rock, and that's been there for a while. And then the school that's been building in Pat seemed to open. But you're saying they're working maybe on the furniture aspect of it.
I think
outside of those two things, what else are we looking at? Right.
So this is the fundamental. This is the fundamental thing I'm trying to get at now. The government understands that the fundamental drivers for the economic growth of the island, which it was intended to do, is the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Is an economic model, is an economic system. The government believes that the economic system is not working, right? But all of those investments, whether it's the touristic product, Grand Bahama model was intended to be the maritime capital of the Bahamas, right? When you look at the economic model. And so if the government is saying that the economic model is not working, and they're making a commitment, and the Prime Minister has done so in the boldest term. I don't think I've ever seen a Prime Minister that fundamentally said and echoed his dissatisfaction with the current economic system. So he's taking the restructuring of that economic system on personally.
Okay, tell us about that. What form is that going to take? What is the plan? Because all we hear is the dissatisfaction, but there doesn't seem to be a plan yet.
Currently now, the Office of the Prime Minister, along with the Attorney General, is meeting with the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Right? I think that there's a number. I want to be very cautious in the way I speak because these are commercial discussions, and I don't want to get ahead of those negotiations. So all the players are at the table. I think that they're making the commercial valuation of the Grand Bahama Port Authority to see in the way the government could take trustees. The reason why I'm guided in the way I speak, Dwight, is I can't really go ahead as the Prime Minister on the issue. But I could go as far as saying that all the players are on the table. The conversations are between the Office of the Attorney General, the Office of the Prime Minister, Grand Bahama Port Authority, the owners, and the trustees.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you can say this, but is it, based on what you're saying today, is it likely that there could be an expansion of the authority of the GBPA for more of Grand Bahama, if not the entire island?
Well, you know, I think there was initial progress made under the Christie administration when they increased the amount of government representation on the Grand Bahama Port Authority. The government changed. I don't think that the incoming minister administration didn't support that approach. So the initial gains, the initial recommendation by the McKinsey consulting company was not adhered to by the incoming minister administration. So essentially, we're back to square one on how the government could meet with the Grand Bahama Port Authority to really look at the levels where the areas where the government is not satisfied, is not pleased. Look at whether or not the Grand Bahama Port Authority is making the kind of investments the government thinks that's going to cause for economic growth to happen. So with the changes of government, there is progress and there's regression. And so the Christie administration thought that they had an approach that would work, but that would involve greater government involvement, looking at the persons who had access to government land. They weren't developing the government land. They weren't going to receive the tax benefits for not developing the government land. The F&M obviously didn't agree with that approach. They went in a different direction. So as the government changed, we found ourselves back at square one. And so in order to deal with the economics, the system, you have to look at it, okay, government of Grand Bahama, there is a conversation that needs to be had on whether or not to entertain further investment into the infrastructure. But I think that's where the government is. And if they are interested in the further development of Grand Bahama, how could both sides come to the middle ground that would benefit the Grand Bahama people?
So we don't have much time left in this segment, Latrey, but I want to ask you, what can you tell us about the local government bill? Because, I mean, I hear it, and I'm sure a few people hear it too, but it seems pretty simple that the solution for Grand Bahama and with talk of expanding local government, that the answer is more autonomy for these islands where they can really have a say without coming to central government all the time to make decisions.
I think that's what the bill intends to achieve, given looking at ways to give, particularly at the issue of good governance, given the empowering local government and giving it more autonomy. I know that my office will be reaching out to you today, Dwight, to have the Attorney General come on to your show to really do a deeper dive in the number of legislation. I think, yes, that will look at how do we further empower the local government, even around their operations and the way in which they raise money and spend money back into the local economy, their local islands for development. I think another fundamental point that was also mentioned in the speech that was shown is the issue of crime. I know in the past there has been an approach for anti-gang legislation. So I think now we believe that we find a framework that could work, that could really go after gangs in a very directed way, looking at expanding the capacity of the courts where they're adding 5 new justices to improve the flow of backlogs into the system. We're looking at national health insurance to expand catastrophic care. We are now auditing it's a catastrophic care, so we're expanding that framework. We're bringing some regulation to a number of areas. And of course, I've seen the opposition yesterday talk about the cannabis industry and leaving. They talk about the research they did. There's one thing to do the research, and there's another thing to bring the legislation to Parliament. So the government do intend to bring legislation to Parliament on the cannabis industry, the medicinal cannabis industry, to ensure that persons who can benefit from it, both economically and health, we could make progress on that issue.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to have to leave that there. Latrey, thank you for calling in. Latrey Ramming, Director of Communications with the Office of the Prime Minister. Appreciate that there. It's going to be interesting over the next few months. But we look forward to having more discussions with you and the members of the cabinet. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Well, Laverne, it's not going to be dull. Let's just say that. These are big promises, big plans. We will see. We will see how this goes. But boy, all right, we're going to break for news and be back with Morning Blend Business. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up,
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, October 5th, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And this morning we're talking about mortgage and CIBC First Caribbean Bank and their Get Comfy mortgage campaign. Here to tell us all about this, we have a trio of very high-powered executives in the studio with us this morning. We have the branch manager at the CIBC Harbor Bay location, Cherise Archer. We have the manager of the Mortgage and Loan Center, Natasha Clark, and the branch manager for the Bay Street branch, Ashquel Duncombe. Great to have you all with us. Good morning.
Good to have you.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
I got all those titles right?
Correct?
Yeah? Okay. All right. Okay, so before we get into the specifics with the campaign, let's talk about mortgages today and how difficult, or is it easy, to get a mortgage. And is there anything left to buy out there? Well, that's maybe a real estate question, but let's talk about it. I mean, there's so many myths and misconceptions about getting a mortgage. What can you tell us? Cherise, you started.
Hi, good morning again, and thank you for having us. Going on our experience as experienced bankers with over 20 years experience, there's a lot of stuff, real estate out there to purchase.
Okay.
There are several new developments that are going on right now. So if you're interested, you can look at one of those developments. Also, I mean, in the classified ads, there are homes for sale. You can look at homes. You can find a real estate agent to specifically target what you're looking for. When we look at mortgages, it is one of the biggest investments as an individual that you would do in your entire life. And at CIBC, we are the financial specialists. This is what we do in helping our clients to achieve this substantial goal. Now, we tailor the product specifically to the client. Once you've provided your information, we're able to easily do an assessment and give you an idea of what you qualify for, along with what would be the requirements to commence the process.
All right. So, people payment is a lot. The products that you talked about, what's available, that's going to be a lot. It's a lot of money.
We're putting it into perspective, and it's based on what you want to purchase. Now, we're giving you up to 95% financing.
Oh.
So if you're looking for a home for $200,000, then your down payment is $10,000. They will also include legal and closing costs. But I mean, we have the flexibility as a bank to see how we can assist you and making your dream a reality.
Okay.
And with that dream, Dwight, come in, speak to one of our officers.
Of that,
one second, Laverne. One second.
Sorry,
Laverne.
go ahead.
Natasha.
Sorry.
Go.
There's something out there for everyone. We can pre-qualify you to let you know what you can go there to get. Yes, you may want that $1 million home. However, you might only be qualified for $250,000. So let us come in, speak with one of our sales specialists at any one of our branches. And we have 11 branches in the Bahamas. Shirley Street, Harbor Bay, Marlin Marathon, Bay Street, JFK, Carmichael, Sandy Port, Marsh Harbor, Freeport, Governor's Harbor, and we even have a branch at our Bahama Hotel. So come in, speak to one of our officers, see exactly what you qualify for before you go there to look for a place.
Right. Laverne?
Yeah, I was asking, is this promotion age sensitive? Meaning, maybe in my 20s and 30s, I was living my best life and it didn't include being a homeowner, but now I'm 40 and now I'm thinking about owning a home. Am I less likely to qualify, or are you just going to be gauging this individually?
Like Natasha had indicated, once you come with us, age may be a factor between 65 to 70 years, but come into us. We, again, are your mortgage finance specialists. We're going to do an assessment. We're going to be as creative as possible and see how we can help you. Our goal is to ensure that a Bahamian that wants a house gets a house.
Is there an age?
What about if I wanted a condo?
House, condo, triplex, duplex,
You name
fourplex.
Yeah.
Fourplex criteria is slightly different, but again, once you come with us and engage us, this campaign is not specifically to a home. So if you're looking for some type of investment like a duplex or a triplex, it's also engaged to that. If you currently have an existing mortgage and you say, hey, CIBC provides the best service, so it's better for me to look at CIBC. When I look at the Comfy Mortgage, the whole mortgage product, it's a better mortgage product. You can also switch your mortgage to CIBC. You have that option.
Is there an age that's too old? Like you're getting too close to maybe retirement, and is that going to be a problem?
There's a factor here. So I may be 50, but my salary may be commensurable. I may be making a very big salary.
Yeah.
So again, I'm able to qualify for the mortgage. We want to have the discussion. That's what we're here to say.
Yeah.
We want to have the discussion to see what we can do to help you.
Okay.
And I think, Dwight, now is the ideal time because we have the Comfy campaign going on. With the Comfy campaign, you have a whole lot of special offers. So we're helping you, we're assisting you with insurances. We're assisting you with switching costs if you have to switch from one financial organization to another. We're assisting you with bank fees. Offers are tied to this offer. So now is an ideal time to come in and look for a mortgage.
All right, so let's get into the specifics. The Get Comfy campaign. I like the name. I like it. It's cool. Tell us all about it and what separates this from what you've offered in the past and what other institutions are offering out there.
Okay, so I can start. So what we have right now in our Get Comfy is a switch off. It's a home offering where you can, if it's purchasing, if it's switching from one institution to another, if it's buying a home, buying property, all of that is included in it. It started in August. It ends in October 31st.
Oh,
However,
so time is going.
Exactly, and that's why I say now is the ideal time. However, you have until March 2024 to draw on this mortgage. So if you get in-house now and you get on that application now, we're still able to proceed with all of the offers that we have tied to this. You have a minimum, though, of $100,000 for the loan amount. We have a minimum of a 10-year period. But with this, we have a home benefits card, and and that's tied to partners that we have, like Quality Home Center and Modern Air Conditioning. So we have persons out there who will give you discounts for home furnishings, for air conditionings, for anything that you need as it relates to your building project. We have partners who are willing to partner with us and give you discounts because you would have been a part of the Get Comfy campaign. Then you have a 95% financing. You won't find that anywhere else, where you only have to come in for 5% down payment, and we'll finance the 95%. For persons who are bringing over their mortgage, 9 out of 10, you would have already paid down. You have equity in your property, and so we're doing 80% financing for those persons. In addition to that, we have an easy cover where we will help you.
Sorry, and the 20% can be the...
Sure enough. And then we have easy cover where we're assisting with insurances for that home. And that is an interest-free facility that we offer to our customers. And then we have a pre-approved credit card, so you can get a Visa or a Gold Visa or a Platinum Visa card as a part of the campaign as well. So there's a whole lot of things. You won't just be getting a mortgage. You won't just be getting a home, but we have a whole lot of things that we offer in addition to.
Okay. Wow, sounds good. Any special, if you're interested in coming in, anything you need to bring, anything, if you are just looking, is it still fine to come in? You have no idea. You mentioned that, just come in there to talk. All right, but if you are really ready to go, what documents or anything do you need at this time to get you moving along faster?
Well, you have the basic information, your job letter, your pay slips, printouts of any existing loans and credit card debt out there.
Okay, and that will kind of be the basic information for us to get started, to see what we need. Well, we call KYC information, so which is your passport, your voter's card, your NIB card.
All right. Okay, tell us more about special offers that you have. Anything else that comes along with this that people can say, well, that really does sound very, very special compared to what those other guys are offering me.
Well, we know that there are penalties for persons who switch, and we're encouraging persons to, if you want good service, if you want to come to a premier financial institution, then CIBC is the place, right? And so what we are also offering is up to $10,000 toward your switching costs. So that in that, along with insurances, along with credit cards, along with just the advice that you're going to get when you come to CIBC, we're going to ensure that what you walk away is the best product for you, not necessarily the best product for anyone else, but for you as an individual.
Generally, how long does it take to switch over? What are we looking at, really?
Really and truly, after the approval process, depending on whether or not you have to do an upstamping, the legal turnaround is what takes the longest time. But for us, we have within a week, you would know whether or not your facility has been approved, and you can start your legal process. And if it's just a matter of upstamping, you would have already done title searches, you would have already done all of the background work. So it really, within a month, I would say, you should be in your home, or you should have the mortgage switched over and all done.
Property, vacant property as well as part of this?
Vacant property is a part of it.
Okay, then for vacant property, it's a 10% down and maximum term of 15 years.
10% down.
Maximum term of 15 years.
Okay. All right. Guys, we're getting some text messages. You can text us as well, 422-4796. This texter asking, I'm seeking a mortgage to develop a home on a property, but between the present expenses and our salaries and a child on the way, my husband and I can only afford around $1,000 per month, and to build a home that would cost close to $400K, not including furniture. But this seems like a pipe dream. Not really, hey?
Well, I mean, she can come into one of our branches. You can give, if she has a contact, we can give her a call to see exactly what we can do to help.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, boy.
I'd said earlier, we are financial advisors. So it could be that the $400,000 may not be what they can qualify for. But we're going to give them what they can qualify for and give them the advice to steer them in the direction of how they are going to.
This text is along the lines of what Laverne was asking about. This person says that if you're 40, you might as well forget it and live with your mother's house forever. No, right? No.
Let's have the discussion. This is really about having the discussion. Ashwell said it already. We are tailoring these products to you specifically. So they're generalizing being 40. But your 40 and my 40 may be two different 40s.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. All right. So give us, again, how to reach you all. And if you want more information and the deadlines, again, what people need to know if they're interested in talking to CIBC about the Get Comfy mortgage campaign.
Okay, our campaign ends
Get a little closer to that mic, Natasha.
Our campaign ends October 31st. You can come into any one of our branches, Shirley Street, Harbor Bay, Marlin Marathon, Bay Street, JFK, Carmichael, Sandy Port, Governor's Harbor, Marsh Harbor, Freeport, and our Bahama branch. Any one of our branches, any day besides the weekend.
We're not open.
About the interest rates, what are we looking at? Is it across the board, or will it depend on the person?
It's across the board. Those rates, yes.
And again, give it to us.
Competitive rates. We have competitive rates, and that's based on risk. So it's not just a fixed rate. It's variable based on the risk that we're taking on. And again, we say you have like 95% financing. That's something that you cannot beat.
Okay, so you're not going to give us a number. Okay, but competitive and okay. All right, but come in and talk, and then you'll see.
That's key.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, any other final points you want to get out there? Because this. You mentioned it. One of the biggest things you'll do in life, biggest purchase you make. It can be scary. It can be resulting in sleepless nights. Advice that you give to folks out there who are contemplating going on this journey.
I think the most important advice is you need the best bank in the Bahamas, which is CIBC First Caribbean. We have experienced lenders. In this room alone, I think we have experience over 100 years.
I didn't think you were going to go there. Okay. Really? Oh.
Banking.
Wow.
So
what?
We have the experience. We're here kind of to hold your hands. The Comfy product is a product we're doing today, but our goal as an institution is to help you get your dreams, help you to make sure that your dreams come true. So we're here to help. Please feel free to visit any of our branches. We're going to continue to guide you. Even once you've gotten your home, we're still here to see as your children age, as they go to college. We're still here. We will be there to assist you.
And any appointment necessary? Can they just walk in, or is it best to call and make an appointment?
It's best to call and make an appointment. We do take walk-ins, but the wait time, we don't want you to be sitting down and waiting. So it's best to call in, make an appointment.
You all answer your phones because some
Of
banks
course we
you can't get through.
Definitely.
We answer
At CIBC First
okay.
Caribbean, we ensure that customer service
You know
is
what I mean,
top
Ashwell.
notch.
These people you can't get through. It's easier to call Mars than to get through to some of these other
Right,
banks.
of course I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean, Dwight.
All right.
We answer our phones.
Well, that's good.
And I just wanted to end, if we're closing, we have a saying, Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child who has his own.
Okay.
And we're in the business of trying to empower and assist Bahamians in getting into their homes.
One late text just coming in that as long as you're making the money, right? They're saying, what about self-employed people? How do they qualify?
We have business banking managers, actually, within several of our branches. If they are interested, they can book an appointment with the business banking manager who will do an assessment.
Okay. And now you did say there was a limit, right, of 100,000?
Yes.
This person says 1,000.
So we can assist them with the loan, but it will not be a part of this campaign.
And they're saying the house is 400,000, but they want a loan for 80,000.
Yeah.
So, but they can.
Yeah, most
come in,
definitely.
yeah.
Most definitely.
All right. Store bank hours, regular banking hours, or yeah, okay.
8:30 to 4:30.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, 9:30.
8:30 is for the employees to get there. Don't come to the bank booth.
Okay,
Right.
9:30 to 3 o'clock. Every day now.
Okay.
We've changed our banking hours, so it's Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 3
For
o'clock.
customers, that was what you employees work. You all work some very long hours. Okay, this is great information. Again, the deadline is approaching, so get to it now. The Get
Yes.
Comfy campaign.
And we look forward to seeing all of you.
Okay, wonderful stuff, ladies. Thank you so much, Therese Archer, Natasha Clark, and Ashquel Duncombe. Appreciate it this morning.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna take a break and be back. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
We've been with you from the very start, leading the way and providing you with the best in primetime sporting experiences. From one goal to the next, you can count on us for full access to the best sports channels at home or on the go. Make Rev your only choice. Visit rev.bs. Every match, every game, every moment. Rev, your home for sports.
America completely run out of it.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire better serve you. We've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
Too many debt bills? Overdue on loan payments? Improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Shrink your debt payments with a debt consolidation loan and built-in savings that pays you 5% interest. Call 356-7764.
Enjoy a Christmas experience at BWF, Pre-Christmas Savings. Sale begins Monday, November the 25th through Thursday, November the 28th, with up to 50% off on Black Friday and Saturday sale. November 29th and November 30th, 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Great savings on Christmas decoration, outdoor ornaments, Junkanoo supplies, housewares, appliances, grills, generators, lawn and garden supplies, and a whole lot more. Located number 13 Wilton Street. Open until 6 p.m. BWF, we're more than just our name.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. The government's economic policy path should be directed by credit rating agency Moody's guidelines for the country to achieve a further credit upgrade. That's according to the principal of management consultancy firm Next Level Solutions, Hubert Edwards. He told Guardian Business that both credit rating agencies Moody's and Standard & Poor's S&P agree that deep-seated fiscal reforms are needed to lower the country's debt, balance the payments, and growth risks. Neither company has taken any rating action since releasing recent reports, though. Almost exactly 1 year ago, Moody's downgraded the Bahamas but gave the country a stable outlook. Its recent report upheld that year's grading. Royal Caribbean International hiring more than 100 Bahamians recently as it moved toward its goal of putting Bahamians at every level of its operation and aboard its vessels. RCI making that announcement. President of the Royal Beach Club at Paradise Island and General Manager of Royal Caribbean International Bahamas, Philip Simon, saying in a statement that the company is excited to see the level of qualifications Bahamians have brought to job interviews during the company's many job fairs, supported by the Department of Labor. He says that Royal Caribbean is focused on identifying Bahamian talent for its private island destinations and on-board positions. You can read more about the story in today's Guardian Business section. RF Bank and Trust Vice President of Investment Banking, Jim Wilson, says investing remains an important part of growing wealth in the country, explaining that we can't rely on national insurance benefits to look after us in our old age. Wilson, speaking at the World Investor Week 2023 on the sidelines of that, saying it's about the benefits of saving and investing. Wilson said Bahamians have to begin to look toward retirement through saving and investing. RF Securities Investment Advisor Dominic Stubbs explaining the difference between investing in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and real estate. He also explained what economic shocks are and how they can affect a person's investment. Meanwhile, BISIC's Chief Operating Officer Holland Grant reminded the attendees that there is inherent risk in all investments. And more from that event. Inflation is likely to be with the Bahamas for a while, given that interest rate hikes in the U.S. to stem inflation will lead to higher costs being passed down. That's again from Jim Wilson, RF Bank and Trust Vice President of Investment, speaking to the media on the sidelines of that Brunch and Learn series for World Investor Week. Wilson said the tourism boom could present an important cushion for the country as it rides out the inflation caused chiefly by COVID and Russia's war in Ukraine. But he says we're going to see inflation for a while. He said, quote, "Let's face it, we import everything, and as much as we have price controls on some of the things, and food prices are still going up." He says with the interest rate hikes in the U.S., all this does in the end is that companies are being affected by those high interest rates, and they're going to have to pass those on to their clients. Well, overseas, more on the interest rates in the U.S. Surging interest rates are intensifying the challenges for the U.S. economy and threatening to derail the Federal Reserve's drive to tame inflation without causing a deep recession. Since midsummer, the yield on the 10-year Treasury note, a benchmark for many loans, has steadily climbed, causing a spillover rise in other borrowing costs. The cost of mortgages, auto loans, and credit card debt have all risen, and rates across the economy could weaken the government's own finances. The jump in longer-term rates coincides with other threats from higher gas prices and this week's resumption of student loan payments to auto workers' ongoing strike and the risk of government shutdown next month, all of which could leave U.S. consumers with less money to spend to power the economy. The strike by the United Auto Workers, now in its third week with no resolution in sight, could reduce vehicle sales in coming months, and the threat of government shutdown, narrowly averted this past weekend, still looms large, especially given the chaos over the leadership of the House of Representatives. Far-right Republican House members deposed their leader, Republican Kevin McCarthy, on Tuesday for working with Democrats to temporarily avoid a shutdown. And from Japan, Business sentiment among big Japanese manufacturers improved in July through September for the second straight quarter, according to a central bank survey released Monday. The Bank of Japan's Tankan quarterly survey measures business sentiment among major manufacturers at +9, up from +5 in June. Sentiment among major non-manufacturers rose 4 points to +27 in the sixth consecutive quarter of improvement in about 3 decades. The Tankan survey, conducted every 3 months, measures corporate sentiment by subtracting the number of companies saying business conditions are negative from those replying that they are positive. Tourism, which has lifted the world's third largest economy in recent years, was hit by the pandemic, but incoming travelers have gradually returned to near pre-pandemic levels in Japan, and the negative effects of COVID on supplies of computer chips and other key parts for manufacturers has also erased gradually, with production recovering, according to analysts. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX. From Wednesday, your market movers, Bank of the Bahamas, moving 340 shares, closing at 530 unchanged. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,730.63, up 0.33. That's your Market Watch. And that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And be sure to attend the CFAL Pension and Economic Conference Thursday, October 19th at Bahamar Convention Center. Welcome back to Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Thursday morning. All right, so our final few minutes, we can continue with our discussion about the speech from the throne and how you feel about it, where you think the direction the government's going, if you're pleased with that. So call in 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Your reaction to the comments made by the Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, Trey Ramming, when he called in towards the end of our 8 o'clock hour there. Let's get your reaction to that as well. Laverne, we've got this call here. Let's take that. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Laverne.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
I missed you the other day because of your voice again.
Hmm?
Dwight.
What? When did you miss her?
She was, maybe I missed myself, but I didn't hear it last week, eh?
Well, I thank you that you missed me. Dwight, don't interrupt.
She was here.
Thank you.
And
thank you that you missed me.
Guys, I would have jealous woman right there. But listen, on the throne, I listened to the speech and I think it was pretty interesting. Two things I like, the London vision for a national service was, I call it, was despised for a long time. And I listened to that speech a very long time ago when Selena made that speech at his convention. I feel if we had national service, we would have been in a better shape. We in terms of that, but now they reckon that they'll introduce it along with the National Youth Service. And the other one, I would like. I am kind of a little disappointed, and I hoping that the gentleman could call back in tomorrow with local government. I don't know if they still including New Providence. If not New Providence, be a crying shame.
No, didn't mention New Providence at all.
Right, but they mentioned our legislation and local government, and that's why I'm saying that I'm hoping that the government and the Minister of Local Government really consider New Providence, because New Providence just needs the local government. We try to talk about it. You saw the reason why we would like to have it. The kind of local government we wanted, not even like Grand Bahama, because Grand Bahama is local government. All local government family they need to be around.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the one in New Providence is needed east and west. So I think we'll get more done. I think crime will be lowered with local government.
Well, I'm not too sure about that one, but definitely we could get a lot of the things that need to be done could be done.
Yeah, but I'm trying to say now, but right, but with all in our district, we could come up with strategies. You would know your person who's doing the crime in your area. And it would be easy to report. But infrastructure would be better. And it's not a Bay Street. About more power than the rest of the East Street and over the hill. I mean, I want to speak for over the hill. I live over the hill.
Right.
Who's speaking for them? Us. Bay Street look good. They taking down the other building, but what over the hill?
Yeah.
So that's why we need to have a discussion on local government. Have a good day.
Absolutely. And there's no reason why other parts of New Providence couldn't even challenge Bay Street, right? It could be tourist attractions as well. But they're scared. That's the only thing I can come up with. It must be a fair thing. Let's hear what you have to say. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Dwight. How you doing? See, Alan Johnson, the Tracy. But, Dwight, you're a local government advocate, right? Mm-hmm. There's two words I want you to learn to use. You say, if you have local government in New Providence, the MPs will be used less. And I want you to say very quickly, MPs are what? Useless. So that's your problem. Now,
it doesn't have to be, though, right? Because that would mean they would focus on the laws.
On what the parliamentary democracy system requires.
Yes.
Policies, process, procedures, programs, whatever, instead of trying to run government, local government. Now, Dwight, when Latrell spoke just now, right, I always argue with people that this administration don't know where Grand Bahama is. The pilot does, but they don't. Now, when you talk about the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement in its context, it doesn't exist in isolation. It's not an autonomous organization in its current form or whatever modification is made, meaning that they cannot do anything without the laws, regulations, policies, procedures in place. So this is equivalent of demanding. Anybody knows I ain't no friend to the GBPA for 20 years. They just waking up to what I've been saying. It's equivalent of me telling my daughter to write something and not giving her pen and paper. The government has yet to establish a real policy position, an economic plan for the Bahamas, for which the Grand Bahama Port Authority has to plug into. You could hear the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the government echo the same thing. So the question that have to ask, you have all these different things. This is government. Why haven't the laws and things that is necessary for those things to happen? So if you have not done it for it to happen, then how do you expect the Grand Bahama Port Authority to do it? And so essentially, the Grand Bahama Port Authority has become a distraction, a punching bag for them to balloon on when we have no plan for Grand Bahama. We have no plan for the Bahamas. Grand Bahama was the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement gives you an excellent utilities, but it has to be based on legislation, policies, procedures, programs, etc. There is none. And so that is our problem. If there was something that the government have, I would love to be able to stand in the front of the pink building on behalf of the government and say, here's the document, here's the legislation, here's the policies. Why aren't you guys doing anything? I'm saying we need to stop blaming them. Let's put things in place and demand they perform. I know they refer, what is it, the McKinsey report, the hidden document? isn't the Hawksbill Creek Agreement between the people of the Bahamas, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and the licensees? Well, why aren't the people involved consulted with, engaged, and everything else? And so if we are to correct the problem, it says you cannot manage what you cannot measure. You cannot measure what you refuse to acknowledge. And that is where we are with Grand Bahama. That's why there was nothing in the speech from the throne for Grand Bahama, because they would have to create 30 new laws or modify within those 30 laws what is necessary for Grand Bahama or the Hawks Creek Agreement to thrive in the 21st century. They made mention of one of those laws. I'm not going to say what it is. One of those laws during the speech from the throne.
Really quickly before we let you go, C. Allen, Grand Bahama has an island administrator as well. Like all. You do?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have in the east and the west, or one. I don't know whether he works as 1, 2, or 3 because it changes so often. The problem is that the facade we have of local government that you have for the Bahamas came out of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, because when they were trying to give them the extension in 2003, the Hawksbill Creek Agreement already called for something similar. So they gave us this facade of Hawksbill Creek, of the local government for the rest of the Bahamas, even though they put in there New Providence was subject to the minister just saying so. That was not meant to give us power. It was meant to meet these requirements to delay the implementation of the taxation that it was called for under the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. So remember, the Hawksbill Creek Agreement says nothing can apply to Bahamians anywhere. In Freeport, unless it applies everywhere.
So what does the administrator do on Grand Bahama? And so
everything that the administrators is supposed to be the secretary to local government, but they actually run local government. So basically, what you have is, just like I said in the past, my daughter was able to go. She could stay as late as she wanted, just be home by 7. She could wear whatever she wanted, long as I bought it. She could eat and drink whatever she wanted, long as I decide. That's what local government is in here. So essentially, the administrators on these islands act as glorified secretaries to the central government, and local government has the facade. What they say to you is, you go clean the parks, you go pick up cans, give contract to your friends. And so it has become a corrupted aspect of central government.
Very sad.
And it's very sad. But what would you argue for a few years is what we need for the maturity and governance of our country.
The whole country.
Yes,
Very much
not just some of the outer islands.
No.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Let's take this other call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Toll free, 242-300-5720. Good morning, caller. Hi, you're on the air. Good morning. We can hear you. No. Okay. Thanks a lot. This person's...
So, Dwight? Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
This text here. We need meaningful local government in Nassau and the islands. Create mayors for local government along with their staff. Vote for the mayor. The MPs would be afraid of losing power because of this. This country would run away under better, real local government, period. I don't know why the MPs would be afraid. Did you send
that to yourself?
I didn't. I wouldn't have written it like this. But I get what they're saying. The MPs don't need to be afraid. Right? If you like to manage a place, do you like to be the one they come to when they have a problem? You run for mayor, run for the city council, right? Run for the governor of the island, as opposed to be appointed the island administrator. Run for office there, not be a lawmaker where you have to go through tons and tons of bills and debate nonsense in the House, right? Doesn't that sound better? That there's a type of person who would like to be an MP, to be a lawmaker. But law enforcement and an executive who gets things done, that's for a different type of person. If you prefer to be that, then don't run for the House. Don't run for that. It's very simple. Why would you be upset? Huh? Okay. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Strachan. How are you doing, sir?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good morning. Is local government really working on the family islands the way it should be?
Probably not. I mean, it works the way it was supposed to because that's not the type of local government that they need.
And so every island local government would be different. Because what I might need in Auckland, I might need in Abaco.
Well, I mean, you should have the autonomy and the authority to be able to decide and to do what you need to do, as opposed to
Specific to
just
that island.
right, as opposed to what
Yeah,
central
that's
government
what I'm
tells
trying
you
to
to
say.
do. Right, you should know better because you're on
there.
the ground there. Right,
You should be there,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But what I call also to say, this is a good time for C. Allen Johnson to help Grand Bahama. This is a good time for him to throw his heart in the race in that by-election up in Weston and Bimini and see, he sounds like a very educated person, to see if the people really listening to him. Uh-huh.
I hear you. And okay, they might, and if they are not, what does that mean?
No, I'm saying it will depend. He might win, but it might depend on the amount of votes that he have to see if he have the air in Grand Bahama. It ain't like this by-election is going to be in Inagua or Cat Island. This is in his home. He should have some traction there. All this because every morning he has the solution to the problem.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that always translates into success
Right.
at the polls, right?
At the polls.
Often it seems the people who have the fewest ideas win in elections. But I hear you. I mean, I don't know if Seattle's interested in
Yes,
that.
is she from Grand Bahama?
She's from.
Or she's in Grand Bahama now?
Yep.
Oh, so she can speak on that with C.L. in there. Because, I have nothing against him, honestly. He has some good ideas, but if you talk with the baby in the womb, he can tell you how to turn that. If you talk to the woman in the tomb, he can tell you where she's going. It is like...
Well, let's not make it so personal. But, I mean, not everybody's interested in politics. I know he has been in the past. Thank you, caller. Appreciate it. I mean, he's listening. You could message me and let me know what you think about that, C. Allen. He's been involved in politics.
Not be interested,
Right, he might not be interested in that.
and so-
That's a
yeah,
lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to deal with. He's got a family, and does he need that kind of stress? I don't know. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning.
Hi, guys. How you all doing?
Doing well.
Listen, what I think should happen is there's a blueprint out for how local government could operate these family islands. I don't know if you guys ever took the trip to Spanish Wells or Greendale Key or Treasure Key in Abaco and those particular small communities.
We're familiar with how it works. Yeah.
Right. I'm just talking about how those communities, based on even down to their environment, down to how businesses are structured, down to their, in Spanish Wells, down to their electricity, down to even their basically alcohol policies on the island in terms of, and I think they come together and make those particular decisions, and they have local government, but I think when it comes to local government, the Bahamians have to accept the idea that there is going to be self-governance in terms of, the majority amongst themselves. Somebody has to come out and that person has to be respected and to make certain decisions. When they sit and they make certain decisions, and they have to allow that person to go out and govern that particular island. It can't be where you say we need this and we need that, and then you don't allow for those people to make certain decisions. And I think that's what's happening straight across the board. We are not privileged, but we are a set of people who we think we are hand to mouth.
Well, some people have been conditioned to believe that the central government must provide for them, right? Like the king must be
you have to believe
the subjects of the king.
Yeah, and that lies at the feet of the way we do politics in this country from the accepted majority rule.
Yeah.
We never changed that way where you throw a party.
Right. We like maybe there's some of us who just like power. because
Exactly.
that makes you feel powerful. If they have to come to you for
Yes.
everything.
And for some of the citizens, you don't have to take responsibility for when things go wrong.
Right.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Because you can
And
just say
and
they.
the worst thing I hate, right? The worst thing I hate, and it's becoming it's noticeable, especially with the social media era, is the dependency, and then my party, my government. They don't supposed to do for F&Ms or COI, and it's the PLP. Why they ain't taking care of me? I vote. But now, listen, man. Some people out there who have no allegiance to those parties, vote for them. Vote for them based on that blueprint for change. Vote for them because they felt at the time, and they might have a party affiliation. They might like the PLP, but they come in with fresh new ideas. So what happened? Those people, although they vote for them, they should be left out because they're out there with a blue or yellow shirt on. I think I think once you get in power, it has to be a point where you have to govern the Bahamas, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Caller, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Laverne, thank you so much for being here with us this morning, twice this week. Really appreciate you. And I'll see you again.
Always a pleasure. And before you go, we have to wish your number one fan in Grand Bahama a happy birthday.
Oh.
So please join me in wishing Annie a happy birthday today.
Happy birthday, Annie.
Listening because she's always listening to you. More so you than me, but that's okay.
Okay. Happy birthday, Annie. Really appreciate it and hope you have a wonderful day and wishing you many, many more. All right. Everybody have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight, Strachan, enjoy. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.